Hey, and welcome to this channel, which I'm calling the Damaris Experiment. And this is a little introduction to this mini-series before I start talking about my thoughts and reflections. I wanted to create this little intro to the series where I am going through the Artist's Way workbook by Julia Cameron. I'm going to be sharing my journey, the things that I'm learning, the things that I'm struggling with, and how this is shifting my perspective in my creative life. And I'm excited to be sharing this series with you. I'll be sharing updates 2 weeks at a time. These videos are for anyone who is struggling to reignite that creative spark, or for those of you that are finally ready to face those projects or creative work that have been pending for a while. So if that's something that you're interested in or want to hear more about, let's get into it. Hey, my name is Damaris, and I'd like to share with you my journey in reading The Artist's Way. This book is not just a how to get back into your creative artist way of thinking or lifestyle. There are a lot of spiritual components to it, which I wasn't really expecting, and didn't think that it would contribute to my mentality about being an artist or being a creative as much as it has in the first 2 weeks. There are two bigger takeaways that I'm going to get to in the first 2 weeks of this book, but I'd like to touch on the spiritual component because it's not something that you hear a lot about in regards to being a creative or an artist. There is a stereotype or misconception that artists have this either epiphany of something that sparks an idea for a painting, or that they just were naturally born with this skill to do whatever creative thing that they do. On the other hand, there is very much a spiritual component where you hear people connecting with the divine and getting things transferred to them through their mind, or a feeling that they get in order to transcribe or putting out the connection of something greater than ourselves. Now, I don't know if I have a strong opinion of whether or not it's one or the other, but I would like to think that connecting to something that is unexplainable, even though I might not think about these things so spiritually when it comes to being creative, there is a sense of connection that I feel when I get into creating, when I enter a flow state of something. Honestly, it doesn't even matter what I'm making, whether it's something physical, like my pottery, or, a physical product that I'm trying to create, or digitally, when I'm immersed in putting together my website and I'm designing what I want it to look like. I do enter a state of flow and creativity and connection to something that I find not explainable. There aren't, even right now, me trying to explain to you what it feels like is hard. And I don't know about you, maybe you have that as well when you get into those states of creativity. But it is kind of magical. It's so enlightening to feel like you're flowing in your creativity, in the ideas, in a sense of connection. And I did want to touch on that when it comes to this book, even though it doesn't explain it in the way that I am explaining it to you now. I think thinking about that connection and a sense of wonder and intrigue makes it really interesting and something that I'm sure we want to feel that flow. I think as artists, you want to find that connection, that pinpoint when you're just in it, in the creative process. In saying all of that, the book doesn't only talk about that. It does have more steps and guides of how to incorporate and rebuild your creativity and your way of thinking about your creativity in order to incorporate that more into your life and make it less of a task necessarily, but eventually it becomes a lifestyle and a way that you look at the world. Now, The Artist Way does talk about journaling a lot and they call it morning pages. There is a lot of controversy on journaling. If it's not something for you, I don't think that that's the only way to connect to yourself and to creativity. But I personally did find that journaling has helped me be able to drop my thoughts onto paper. Whether it's like my own mental unleashing of thoughts or actual thoughts about things that I'm trying to work through. And I think the latter is actually my main takeaway that I have experienced so far. Writing things down and processing my feelings or thoughts about something has helped me a lot. I am a processor in general. I take quite a bit of time to process how I think or feel about something. And sometimes talking to other people, family, friends, loved ones, doesn't always hit the spot on them being able to understand exactly how I feel, or me having to explain more thoroughly where I'm coming from, like a backstory of where I'm coming from for them to understand where I am in that moment. And that can be kind of tiring sometimes. I find that it takes away from the processing part, which is why I'm sharing my thoughts in the first place. I don't know if you find that as well, but I think being able to write it down, I don't need to explain anything. I just literally write down my thoughts, my process, where I want to be, what I'm doing currently, at least in these first 2 weeks, and where I am mentally right now. That has helped me a lot to break through, to honestly even create these videos that I've been putting up. And for me, that is huge. Even if it was one step, one thing that I took away so far from this book, if journaling has helped me to actually take action on the things that I have been wanting to do, like posting and creating these videos, I'll freaking take it. Like, that's makes me so happy that I'm accomplishing my goals and the things that I'm wanting to accomplish as a creative person and putting out my work. Yeah, that was kind of long-winded, but that's I would say is week one's main takeaway. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to take away too much from this book, because I know that it, so far, even what I've been reading, I think is even more helpful for someone that is not even started to think about or struggling to think about what their creativity and their art looks like. And because I don't feel I'm quite at that place, it has helped me to get clear on where I'm going, which is the most important part, I think. Week one, thumbs up. Week two, I have found quite interesting, and something that I do not as frequently as I would like to, is to pay attention. She talks about paying attention to the little moments, the little things, the simple things, and taking pleasure and acknowledging the beauty of those little things. It's such a small awareness that comes with paying attention. And I think if you don't do it, obviously you don't notice those things. But I find that when you do pay attention to the smallest things, like seeing a hummingbird drink water from a bird feeder outside, such a small, little, really insignificant thing that passes in a moment. If you don't look, you do miss it. It's gone. That moment is gone. But if you sit there and you see it and acknowledge it and embrace that moment, it's just so beautiful, so simple and quiet, and it's just yours to experience. It really brings a sense of awe, a sense of wonder and beauty and creativity. I think that seeing these little beautiful moments captures, at least in my mind, the beauty of the things around me. And I think shifting your perspective on the creative things that are happening around you at all times helps to spark creativity in your own life, in your own mind, and as an artist, as a creative, to actually start thinking and getting those wheels turning on the things that you want to create. Because for those of you that are creative people, which I do feel we all are to some degree, I think creating are those little moments of beauty and wonder and joy and playfulness. And I think that bringing more of those moments and paying attention to more of those moments in your life starts to shift your perspective and ideas about what is beautiful, what is art, what is creating for each individual person, because that's going to be different. Even me seeing a hummingbird is going to inspire different thoughts in my mind than it would for you. And I think that that is so precious and unique and inviting to start thinking about the world in this way and paying attention to what is around us and those moments that are around us to inspire and encourage and empower us to create our own little moments in our own lives. And so far, I've been really enjoying this book, if you haven't noticed already. And I've had a good experience thinking about these aspects and how to apply them into my life. Because ultimately, that's the point of reading these kinds of books, is being able to take away aspects of the book and incorporating it into my life. And in this case, it's my creative life and my creative work, like these videos. So I do encourage you, if you're into creativity and art and are feeling a little stuck, maybe this book and these videos might be able to help you to get out of it and to think about your creativity and your work in a different way, or at least to inspire some positive thoughts and feelings to getting back to your projects. I'd love to hear, for those of you that have read this book, your comments down below on what you thought and your takeaways on at least these first 2 weeks. And stay tuned for more about the book. If you've enjoyed this video so far, I will be sharing the next 2 weeks soon, and check out any of my other videos for creativity and art and books, other books that I might be reading on my channel. And thanks so much for watching. I'm enjoying creating these videos, and I hope that you're enjoying watching them. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.